Hey everyone! Welcome back to our channel where we dive deep into the world of coins, collectibles, and there the 1980 Philadelphia Mint Susan B. Anthony dollar is a real and historic American coin. But it is important to understand the truth before believing dramatic stories about overnight fortunes. The Susan B. Anthony dollar was first introduced in 1979 and continued in 1980 as part of an effort by the United States Mint to honor one of America's most important women's rights leaders, Susan B. Anthony. This coin marked a powerful moment in history because it was the first time a real woman, not a symbolic figure, appeared on circulating U.S. currency. In 1980, the Philadelphia Mint struck millions of these dollars for circulation. Unlike some coins that were produced in small numbers, the 1980p version was widely minted. Because of that large production, most examples found today are common. In ordinary circulated condition, these coins are usually worth only a little more than their face value of $1. They are not automatically worth millions simply because they are old or because they have a copper-colored edge. The design of the coin carries deep historical meaning. On the front you see the portrait of Susan B. Anthony with a bold and determined expression, symbolizing courage and equality. On the back there is an image inspired by the Apollo 11 mission insignia, showing an eagle landing on the moon. This design connects American civil rights history with space exploration triumph. The artistic detail gives the coin emotional and symbolic value, even if its market value is modest. One detail many people notice is the copper-colored edge. This is completely normal. The coin is not solid silver. It is made of a copper core sandwiched between outer layers of copper nickel. When you look at the edge and see a brownish stripe, that is simply the copper center. It does not mean the coin is rare or special. Every standard 1980 Susan B. Anthony dollar has this feature. However, while most 1980p dollars are common, there are rare situations where a coin can become more valuable. Coins graded in extremely high uncirculated condition, what collectors call mint state grades like MS66 or higher, can sell for significantly more than face value. These coins must have sharp details, strong luster, and almost no marks. Even then, their prices are usually in the hundreds, not millions. The real excitement in coin collecting often comes from errors. If a 1980p Susan B. Anthony dollar has a dramatic mint error, such as a double strike, off-center strike, or other unusual production mistake, it could be worth much more than a normal coin. But genuine mint errors are rare and must be verified by professional grading services. Not every small scratch or odd mark is an error. It is also important to clear up a common myth. There is no verified record of a regular 1980p Susan B. Anthony dollar selling for millions of dollars. Stories claiming such prices are often exaggerated or completely false. In the world of coin collecting, extreme values usually belong to very old, extremely rare coins with tiny mintages, not to modern coins made in the tens of millions. Still, the 1980 Susan B. Anthony dollar holds an important place in American history. It represents the ongoing fight for women's voting rights and equality. Susan B. Anthony herself was arrested for voting illegally in 1872 because women were not yet allowed to vote. Decades later, the 19th Amendment guaranteed women the right to vote. Having her face on a dollar coin was a symbolic victory. Although the coin did not become popular in circulation, many people confused it with the quarter because of its similar size. It remains a fascinating collectible. The lack of public enthusiasm at the time led to reduced production in later years, but 1980 was still a high mintage year. This explains why most examples are affordable today. Condition is everything in coin collecting. A heavily worn coin with scratches and dull surfaces is worth much less than a bright, uncirculated example. If you believe you have a high-quality 1980p dollar, you can have it examined by a professional coin grading company. They will assign it a grade and seal it in a protective holder. This is the only reliable way to confirm higher value. Some collectors also search for proof coins, but proof versions of the Susan B. Anthony dollar were made in San Francisco, not Philadelphia. So if your coin does not have a mint mark or has a P mint mark, it is not a proof coin. Philadelphia business strikes from 1980 are standard circulation pieces. The dream of becoming a billionaire overnight from a single modern coin is exciting, but it is not realistic with a typical 1980p Susan B. Anthony dollar. Real wealth in coin collecting usually comes from knowledge, patience, and rare discoveries, not from common circulation coins. Being informed protects you from scams and unrealistic promises. That said, your coin is still a piece of authentic American history. It tells the story of social change, national pride, and the effort to modernize U.S. currency. Even if it is not worth millions, it carries cultural value and collectible interest. For many collectors, the emotional and historical significance is just as meaningful as financial profit. If you own a 1980 Philadelphia Mint Susan B. Anthony dollar in good condition, Keep it as part of a collection, store it safely, and appreciate its story. But base your expectations on real market facts, not viral myths. The true power of this coin is not in making someone a billionaire overnight. It is in reminding us of progress, perseverance, and the remarkable woman whose legacy still shines on American currency today. The next up, top two. From the moment you look at a 1979 Susan B. Anthony dollar, you're staring into a piece of history that broke tradition and surprised the world. This was the first time the United States struck a dollar coin featuring a real American woman on its face, Susan B. Anthony, a fearless leader of the women's suffrage movement whose voice still echoes today. Just that alone makes the coin more than metal. It's a symbol of progress, courage, and identity. In 1979, the U.S. Mint felt a shift in the air. Paper dollars were getting worn out fast, and people wanted something tough, long-lasting, and portable. Instead of returning to larger silver dollars, they chose a smaller, lighter design, almost the size of a quarter but worth a full dollar. Many people at the time didn't take to this change. They were used to the big Eisenhower dollars and weren't ready for a petite president-less face. But change always has its own value story. The Susan B. Anthony dollar isn't just one coin, it's a message cast in copper and nickel. Every detail reflects purpose. The obverse shows Anthony's determined gaze, her hair wrapped with strength, her presence steady. The reverse carries the classic eagle, clutching symbols of America's spirit. Together, they tell a story of heritage, pride, and economic life. Now let's talk about value, the part that gets collectors' pulses racing. Most 1979 dollars you find in circulation or in collections are common. That means millions were made, and most of them haven't developed the kind of rarity that makes coins worth millions. If someone tells you any 1979 coin is automatically worth a small country's fortune, that's a dramatic overstatement. But here, where possibility becomes fascinating, within that huge production run, there are rare varieties and exceptional conditions that can be worth a lot more than face value. Think of these coins as hidden gems, just like a first edition book or an early vinyl of a classic album. The deeper collectors look, the more surprises they uncover. One of the reasons value can shoot up is condition. Coin grading is the secret world of numismatics, where experts evaluate tiny scratches, luster, strike sharpness, and surface quality. A coin fresh from the mint that has never been touched could receive a perfect grade like MS-70. That means it's flawless, and similar coins have sold for thousands or even tens of thousands because collectors fiercely chase perfection. Then there are truly rare errors and minting varieties. When the dies that stamp coins make mistakes, like missing elements, doubled images, or unusual features, the result can be a 1 in thousands anomaly that collectors desperately want. Those error coins are not only unusual, they are unique artifacts of a complex industrial process that cannot be perfectly repeated. In rare cases like that, prices can go into six figures. But here's the truth that keeps collectors grounded. The vast majority of 1979 Susan B. Anthony dollars, even untouched ones in decent condition, are not worth millions. They're worth more than $1 to collectors, often a few dollars to a few hundred, but not every coin in your pocket is a buried treasure. That doesn't make your coin boring, it makes the hunt exciting. If you genuinely think you have a rare variety or a perfectly preserved 1979 coin, the smart move is to get it graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC. These organizations authenticate and grade coins, and their certification can transform a simple object into a certified collectible with a proven value range. Think of it like having an expert appraiser verify a painting. You get confidence that buyers trust. The value in numismatics isn't just in numbers on a price chart, it's in the story, the scarcity, the journey of each piece. Every coin has touched hands, passed through years, survived wear, or remained protected in a cardboard holder. Some are ordinary, some extraordinary. Collectors aren't just buying metal, they're buying connection to an era, a culture, a moment in time. If you were hoping to become a billionaire overnight from a 1979 dollar, excitement is fine, but reality matters. Treasure hunters in history books rarely got wealthy from a single coin, they built value through deep knowledge, patience, and careful evaluation. This is the art of collecting: information, caution, and imagination joined together. Your coin could be just one of millions, or it could be a rare bird that whispers secrets of minting quirks and historical quirks. The key is verification, not wishful thinking. Find out what variety you have, what grade it earns, and only then let the market tell you its true worth. That's when the real adventure begins. So hold your coin, study its surface, feel its weight, and let curiosity drive you. Whether it's a common piece that gets you interested in history or a rare version that becomes a centerpiece of a collection, this coin has the potential to change your perspective, if not your fortune. Remember, the world of coins is as vast and wild as any treasure tale. Some stories end with gold chests and sung glory, and others with new collectors finding joy in the hunt. Your 1979 Susan B. Anthony dollar is a door to that world, What lies beyond depends on what you discover, learn, and share. And that's the magic of numismatics. Every coin is a chapter in a human story, and the treasure isn't just value, it's the journey of finding out what makes your coin special. If you want, I can help you identify rare varieties of the 1979 P. Susan B. Anthony dollar with descriptions you can compare to your coin photos. Just tell me what's on the edge or any unusual marks. The next up, top 3. The Susan B. Anthony dollar was the first small-sized dollar coin produced by the United States after the old large silver dollars stopped being made. When the coin was released in 1979, many people weren't used to dollar coins, so they were often ignored, tucked away in drawers, or never circulated long. That means a lot of these coins still exist today, many in worn circulation condition and many still in mint state. Most 1979 Philadelphia minted Susan B. Anthony dollars are common. Philadelphia coins carry a P mint mark on the coin on the eagle's breast on the reverse. Because millions were made and many survived because people didn't use them often, most of them are only worth slightly more than their face value, maybe a couple of dollars or tens of dollars, even in good condition. Collectors care about condition more than almost anything else. Coins that show little to no wear, with sharp details, clear surfaces, and no scratches or marks, are described as being in mint condition or uncirculated. A coin in this type of condition will always be more valuable than the same coin that is worn or scratched from use. Among the 1979 Philadelphia Susan B. Anthony dollars, what really drives value is not just high grade, but rare errors or special varieties. For example, some coins were struck with mistakes in the metal or design, a double strike, missing mint mark, off-center image, or other striking anomalies. These error coins can be rare and interesting to collectors because mistakes are unexpected and not many were saved. Popular variety among collectors is the 1979 P double die obverse variety. In this case, the front of the coin with Susan B. Anthony's portrait shows doubling letters or details that look slightly shadowed or doubled due to a die error. These varieties can sell for significantly more than regular coins, but even so, they will usually be worth hundreds or maybe low thousands of dollars depending on condition and buyer interest, not millions. Claims that a normal 1979 Susan B. Anthony dollar is worth millions are not realistic. Even the most valuable Anthony dollar ever sold at auction made headlines because of its rarity and condition, but that value comes from extreme scarcity, not from ordinary circulation coins. Only a very tiny handful of coins ever reach these top-tier collectible levels. If you have one of these coins and believe it might be in extremely fine condition or may have an error, the first step is to have it professionally evaluated by a reputable coin grader. Grading companies like PCGS or NGC assign a grade based on strict standards. A high grade significantly increases value because collectors trust those third-party assessments. Those grading companies look at things like luster, strike quality, surface marks, and eye appeal. A coin that looks nearly perfect could get a grade of MS65, MS66, or higher, and as the grade goes up, so does the potential price it can fetch at sale. Even then, prices usually range in the hundreds to thousands, not millions. The metal composition of the Susan B. Anthony dollar is not copper in the sense collectors sometimes think. These coins are primarily a copper core with a thin outer layer of cupro-nickel, a copper-nickel alloy. That means the coin is mostly metal that isn't intrinsically worth much by weight, unlike older silver dollars made of precious metals. That's one reason why most are worth only a bit more than face unless they have collectible traits. Some people come across coins with unusual coloring or tunning, maybe a copper tint or rainbow colors, and assume they are worth a fortune. Tunning can be interesting and beautiful, but color alone doesn't make a coin extremely valuable. Again, it's condition, rarity, and collector demand that determine price, not just how the surface looks. It's also important to understand the difference between face value and collector value. Face value is what the coin is worth as money, $1. Collector value is what someone might pay based on rarity and desire. A common Susan B. Anthony dollar in circulated condition might trade hands for $1 to $5. $1 in perfect uncirculated condition might sell for $20 100. A rare error might go for $500 or more, but that's still far from ordinary coins becoming millions. If someone tries to convince you that a common 1979 Philadelphia Susan B. Anthony dollar is a hidden treasure worth an unbelievable fortune overnight, that's likely misinformation or a sales tactic. Real coin collectors rely on documented auction results and official price guides to determine value, and these rarely show normal examples selling for wildly high sums. Your coin becomes valuable when verified by experts and when someone in the collector market is willing to pay more than face value for it. But markets shift over time, and what is collectible today might change, which is why professional grading and documentation matter. The world of coin collecting can be exciting. People who specialize in U.S. coins study varieties, mintages, historical context, and grading details. The Susan B. Anthony dollar has an interesting place in history because it was the first U.S. small dollar coin and honors an important figure in the fight for women's rights. So if you feel your coin might be special, don't rush to sell it at a low price. But also keep your expectations grounded in how most of these coins are actually valued. Get it examined, learn its grade, and understand what variety it is before assuming huge monetary worth. In the end, owning a coin that might be rare or valuable is exciting and worth exploring, but it's the documented rarity, condition, and collector interest that make a coin valuable, not rumors or exaggerations. Collecting coins is a fascinating hobby rooted in history, careful study, and real market value. If you want help identifying whether your specific coin has an error or a special variety, I can guide you on how to describe the details so you can narrow down what you actually have. The next up top for the Susan B. Anthony dollar is one of the most talked about modern U.S. coins simply because it was the first time the United States ever put the image of a real woman, Susan B. Anthony, the famous suffragist, on regular circulation money. Before this series, U.S. coins featured presidents, national symbols, or historical figures, but never a woman on circulating dollars. That gave these coins a unique place in American numismatic history right from the start. In 1979, the first Susan B. Anthony dollars were struck. After that, the U.S. Mint made more in the early 1980s and again in the late 1990s. The 1999 Susan B. Anthony dollar was one of the final issues before the coin series ended, and the Sacagawea dollar began in 2000. For collectors, that end-of-series moment gave these coins a little extra intrigue, because final runs often attract more attention. Now when people talk about a coin being valuable, they're usually referring to condition, rarity, and demand. That means how perfect the coin looks, how many of them exist, and how badly collectors want it. Most Susan B. Anthony dollars, especially from 1999, were used in pocket change and machine rolls, so most examples you see today are worth just their face value of $1, or a little more if they're very crisp. The 1999 Philadelphia Mint coins are especially common. The Philadelphia Mint produced vast quantities for circulation, so unlike certain rare wheat pennies or 1800s gold coins, there weren't extremely low mintages that would automatically make every 1999 Anthony dollar priceless. In fact, tens of millions were made, so just owning one doesn't make you an overnight billionaire. But that doesn't mean there aren't stories or twists. In coin collecting, every so often an error coin surfaces, a coin that was misprinted or flawed in a way the mint didn't intend. Some error coins can be rare and highly collectible because they're unusual and there aren't many like them. An example might be a coin with a double strike or missing detail. However, true error coins must be verified by experts, and even the most extreme Susan B. Anthony errors rarely fetch millions in auctions. Collectors prize coins in pristine condition, those that never saw everyday use and still look almost brand new. These coins are graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC on a scale where perfect examples can be rated MS68 or MS69, meaning nearly flawless. A top-grade 1999 Philadelphia Anthony dollar might sell for more than face value, sometimes significantly more, but still generally in the tens to hundreds of dollars range, not millions. It's also important to note that true rarities have to be authenticated by experts. Just finding a coin that looks unusual doesn't guarantee value. Many times collectors bring coins to shows or grading services only to discover they're simply worn or dirty, not uniquely rare. So the story of unimaginable million-dollar value often comes from misunderstanding rather than verified market prices. Despite that, there is a special kind of magic in these coins because they represent a moment when the U.S. recognized women's contributions to history. Susan B. Anthony was a leader in the movement for women's right to vote, and her image on the dollar coin connects modern collectors to nearly a century of social change. That emotional resonance is part of why people keep them and cherish them. There are also proof coins, specially made for collectors with a mirror-like finish. A 1999 proof dollar from the Philadelphia Mint set is different from the everyday circulation strike. Proof versions are more desirable to some collectors and can command higher prices because they were produced in limited numbers and intended for preservation. Still, the real rule of valuable coins is that value is determined by the market. What a collector is willing to pay at auction sets the actual price. Many coins believed to be rare treasures end up selling for modest amounts because there are just more of them available than people expected. The Susan B. Anthony dollars are a great example of this. common coins with fascinating stories, not hidden treasures worth millions. If you truly believe you have a special error or an extremely high-grade example, the best thing to do is take it to a coin expert or a reputable grading service. They can tell you if the coin is truly exceptional or just a beautiful piece of everyday numismatic history. Professional grading gives you a certificate and a guaranteed grade that serious collectors trust. Another piece of advice: don't let hype or dramatic claims guide you. Sometimes people exaggerate values because it draws attention or excitement, but in the world of coin collecting, accuracy and honesty matter. A genuine rare coin can indeed be worth a significant sum, but not every old coin is a secret jackpot. Even if your 1999 Susan B. Anthony dollar isn't worth a fortune, it's still a piece of history. It reminds us of progress in American society and the long journey toward equality. Holding a coin like this connects you to a broader story, one that's worth valuing even without millionaire headlines. So instead of thinking in terms of overnight billions, think about what makes a coin special: its story, its condition, and its place in the larger history of money and culture. If something truly rare were ever identified, experts would authenticate it, and then the numismatic community would take notice. Until then, these coins remain cherished collectibles, not lottery tickets. If you want, I can also tell you which specific error types or high-grade characteristics collectors most prize in Susan B. Anthony dollars, and how you can check your coin at home before showing it to an expert. The next up, top 5. The story of the 1980 Philadelphia Mint Susan B. Anthony dollar begins with one of the boldest experiments in modern American coinage. The Susan B. Anthony dollar was created to honor a pioneer of women's rights, Susan B. Anthony, and it marked the first time a real woman, not a symbolic figure, appeared on a circulating United States coin. When the 1980 issue rolled out of the United States Mint in Philadelphia, it carried with it not just monetary value but powerful historical meaning. Yet over time, collectors began to ask a thrilling question: could one of these small, silvery dollars be worth a fortune? The 1980 Philadelphia coin, identified by the absence of a mint mark, was struck in large numbers. Tens of millions were produced for circulation. That fact alone is important because rarity is the lifeblood of million-dollar coins. Unlike legendary American rarities such as the 1794 flowing hair dollar, which is sold for millions due to extreme scarcity and historical importance, the standard 1980 Susan B. Anthony dollar was made in huge quantities. Most examples found in pockets, drawers, or coin jars are worth exactly $1. However, value in coin collecting is not always about age. It is about condition, rarity, and error. A 1980p Susan B. Anthony dollar in heavily worn condition, even if the copper side, the visible copper core sandwiched between outer layers, looks bright and clean, does not automatically become rare. That copper edge is normal. These coins are made of a copper core bonded between outer layers of copper nickel. Seeing copper on the edge does not mean it is special. It means it is authentic. Where excitement begins is in condition. Coins graded in pristine mint state, especially MS67 or higher by professional grading services, can command significantly higher prices than face value. A sharply struck, fully lustrous 1980p example with no visible contact marks can sell for hundreds of dollars, and in exceptional certified condition sometimes even more. But it is crucial to understand: hundreds, not millions. There are no verified records of a regular 1980p Susan B. Anthony dollar selling for anywhere near $1 million. The true dream territory for collectors lies in rare errors. Coins struck off-center, double-struck, or with dramatic die errors can become highly desirable. If a 1980p coin had a major minting mistake, such as a significant off-center strike or a bold double die visible to the naked eye, its value could rise dramatically compared to ordinary examples. Even then, most documented error coins from this series sell in the hundreds or low thousands, depending on severity and demand. Part of the confusion around enormous values comes from other Susan B. Anthony varieties. For example, the famous 1979 wide rim variety from Philadelphia gained attention because of its distinct date placement. But even that coin in top condition does not approach million-dollar territory. The series as a whole is modern and widely saved by collectors, which keeps supply high. Historically speaking, the Susan B. Anthony dollar was not popular in circulation. Its size was similar to a quarter, leading to confusion among the public. Because of this, production was halted after 1981 and briefly resumed in 1999. Ironically, its commercial failure makes it historically fascinating, but not necessarily financially explosive. If someone claims a 1980p Susan B. Anthony dollar can make you a billionaire overnight, that claim is not supported by documented auction history. The coin market is transparent at the highest levels. When million-dollar coins sell, they are widely reported in major auction houses and numismatic publications. No such sale has occurred for a regular 1980p example. That does not mean your coin is worthless, far from it. If your coin is in exceptional condition, brilliant, uncirculated with no scratches, no dullness and strong mint luster, it may be worth having professionally graded. Third-party grading by respected services can authenticate the coin and assign a condition score which determines its real collector value. There is also emotional and historical value. Holding a 1980 Susan B. Anthony dollar is holding a piece of American social progress. It represents the recognition of women's leadership in national history. That historical authenticity gives the coin meaning beyond metal and market price. When evaluating your coin, examine the rim, lettering, and overall strike. Are the details sharp in Anthony's hair? Are the stars crisp? Is the eagle on the reverse well defined? Condition is everything in modern coins. A single deep scratch can dramatically reduce collector interest. The phrase copper side good condition often refers to a clean, bright edge. But again, every genuine Susan B. Anthony dollar will show that copper sandwich edge. It is not a rare trait, it is standard mint construction. True rarity would require something unusual, wrong planchet metal, dramatic error, or certified top population grade. In the real history of American coinage, million-dollar pieces tend to be from the 18th or 19th centuries, or they are unique minting errors of extreme rarity. Modern circulating dollars from 1980 simply do not meet that threshold under normal circumstances. So here is the powerful truth. Your 1980 Philadelphia Susan B. Anthony dollar is a real historical coin. It is authentic, meaningful, and collectible. In ordinary circulated condition, it is worth $1. In superb uncirculated condition, it may be worth significantly more. In rare error form, it could be highly collectible, but there is no verified evidence that it can make someone a billionaire overnight. The true fortune in coin collecting comes from knowledge, patience, and understanding the difference between myth and documented history.